County. Here's what we know right now. We have reports that 64 eastbound at Grand at the Science Center is flooded at the moment because of the very heavy rainfall that's falling there. And that's a traditionally poor drainage area anyway. So that's right there at the Science Center, 64 eastbound at Grand. Actually, well, it says at the Science Center. Grand is a little farther in, so that'd be interesting. Um, 70 west at Madison. 2 lanes have water on the road. So 70 westbound at Madison have 2 lanes on the road. So we have a flash flood warning here, Madison, St. Clair, and that's in Illinois. And we also have parts of St. Louis County and the city of St. Louis under this flash flood warning. And that's going to be for a little while longer. So just want to kind of switch this on here, give you a little looping time. The local radar is actually down in St. Louis for some maintenance, but the heavy rain, it's still going on out on 64. Once you hit past about Shiloh or so, all the way over towards that rest stop, just as you get towards the end of St. Clair County, that area keeps regenerating. And we're noticing a lot of heavy rainfall now down into Monroe County, as well as southern portions of St. Clair County. Those areas aren't under a flash flood warning just yet, but there's a good possibility that those areas will be seeing some if these storms don't die out. Now, the rain has weakened a little bit around most of the St. Louis area. You can see the heavy rain was going across Madison County, and there's still some right now up along 270 and 255, still coming down pretty good. That's up there around that Flying J Travel Center. You still have some pretty good downpours here along Lindbergh and out along 170. They're shifting south. And then down 44 and down 55, there are some pockets of heavy rainfall. But the worst of it looks like it's on 255 heading towards Columbia, Illinois, as far as intensity of rain now, and also out Interstate 64 once you go on to the east of Shiloh. By the way, the Weather Service is not going to do their weather radio test here because of the ongoing situation. We do have reports of a water rescue that was ongoing over just around Mascoutah, person on the roof of the car at 161 and State Route 4. So I think the important thing to remember here is if there is water over the roadway, and we're talking rainfall rates here that are running, maybe 3 inches an hour. Not that it's going to stay that way for an hour, but you'll get 1 inch to 2 inches in 20 or 30 minutes. And the drainage systems are not designed for that. This is what it looks like over in Belleville right now. And you can see quite a bit of rain still there, wet roads, but it doesn't look like there's any flooding there at the moment. So that's good news. And then we look downtown St. Louis, and you can see the rain is still ongoing at this point. So we're still looking at that right now. But again, there's Belleville, and here's the radar. And social media is reporting there's Collinsville flooding there along the Beltline. It's coming down so fast, there's just not much you can do. And it's humid, it's muggy, even though it's not overly hot. Now, when you look at this, if we put this into motion, actually, we'll add the lightning in here first. Still a lot of lightning here off to the east of St. Louis and then down to the south. So we're going to zoom in and look at a couple of these storms. This one right now is producing the heaviest rain, and that really is from about New Baden over towards about Shiloh. So this is a rough go along 50, along 64, Illinois Route 4. Some of that has been going on building along Route 60. So in the north, especially of downtown Mascoutah and heading up towards 64, this would include Scott Air Force Base. That's where we're looking at not only a tremendous amount of cloud to ground lightning, but also that torrential rainfall that's ongoing there now. And you can see that you've got the heavy rain, you got a lot of lightning. Don't think there's much in the way of wind here. And let me just check. I think I've got, I don't know. The power outages most likely would not be wind related as much as electrical. And so that's the situation that we're looking at now. Because of lightning, you get some power outages. Let's shift south a little bit here and go on down into what's going on here in southern portions of St. Clair County and Monroe County. Down around Hecker, New Athens, Smithton's had some tremendous rainfall, pouring right now around Waterloo. I think I just got a message that said on social media that we were looking at some power outages around New Athens. And again, with all that lightning in the vicinity, that certainly can do that. Looking up towards Columbia here, to go up Route 3 towards the Mississippi River, tremendous amounts of rainfall. That's pushing into Melville, trying to build back in towards Oakville. And when we broaden this out, you can see there's almost a little bit of a spin there in this whole business. There is a little disturbance that's just kind of sitting over us right now and not moving very fast. And so that's responsible for generating this very heavy rainfall. So at the moment, the flash flood warning's continuing for a good chunk of the metro area, especially the city of St. Louis and then surrounding areas of St. Louis County that are close to the city, not per se West St. Louis County or far north. Once you get really north of 270 in St. Louis County, you're not looking at quite the flood threat in those areas right now. So, here's what we've got right now. Heavy rain, 2 inches already having fallen, probably another inch or so in some spots. 6440 flooded at Grand Boulevard, and they said Grand, and then they said near the Science Center. So, there's a couple of differences there, but we know it's coming down for sure, and it's coming down at a pretty good rate. Let's go one more out, and look, here we are across our part of the world, and the only clump of thunderstorms that's causing problems right now is right over us. So right around the St. Louis area. I would think down in southern portions of St. Clair County and into Monroe County, as long as this is ongoing, you're going to get the same rainfall rates, 3 to 4 inches an hour, which is going to cause more problems. And it's not just this batch of thunderstorms. It's the fact that, we've had some serious rainfall here in the last couple of weeks around St. Louis. The ground is saturated. I know, Saturday night, my creek was out of its banks and just left a mess. And hopefully the creeks don't get crazy with this, but it certainly is possible that we're going to have at least some creek flooding, or some of the small streams and creeks will jump very quickly because of this very heavy rainfall. That storm right now that's out here, the two to watch. Let's zoom in on the two to watch. Down here on the Monroe and St. Clair County lines, this is southwest, just south and southwest of New Athens over towards Hecker. Torrential rainfall occurring right now. Just absolutely torrential rainfall happening with this at the moment. And those rainfall rates are enough where you're going to bring in, you're going to flood, you fill up the ditches and the farm fields, by the farm fields really fast, and you'll end up with poor drainage areas almost instantaneously jumping back into, flooding and water on the roads because it just can't drain. The other area to watch here is what's going on north of Mascoutah, right along 64, the Lebanon exit. I think Lebanon earlier reported upwards of 2 inches. And let me get back over into my Weather Service chat here and see. I thought I saw a report earlier on that. Belleville had 1.6 inches in an hour. Lebanon had 1.5 inches as of 9:33. But then another report from Lebanon had 2.1. So I would tend to go with Lebanon getting 2.1 and probably getting another inch on top of that. So we're still going to be looking at the heavy rainfall in that area. Um, so 2.1 inches. And that was in about a 25-minute period. So, and they had one in, let's see. So those are from amateur radio operators. All right. So those are the amateur radio operators reporting those high numbers. So this whole area, of course, this is a farming community. Once you get over into St. Clair County, once you get kind of out of the urbanized area, you really get into a lot of farms over here. And I'm sure there's already soggy fields to begin with, if not water standing in them. But I would anticipate additional flash flood warnings coming for the areas down here into Monroe County and southern portions of St. Clair County, because you're looking at rainfall rates in here that are running probably 2 to 3 inches at least an hour, if not a little more. And this is trying to backbuild a little bit towards St. Louis. Now the good news is the rain has let up in intensity across at least the city of St. Louis. And you look back into St. Louis County here, and it's not that much. So this is really concentrated in the area. Poor drainage, too much rain too fast here in the city. So poor drainage areas resulted in some flooding there along 70, also along 64 westbound, 70 westbound at Madison had 2 lanes of water on the road. 64 eastbound at Grand, reports of 64 flooded there. I'm going to try to jump over here on Facebook for those of you that maybe are commenting, so I can kind of see that. Can only have so many screens open at one time here on the page. Yeah, about 20 minutes ago, somebody's talking about the Mascoutah Fire Department and mutual aid with O'Fallon responding. Jan says avoid Scott Air Force Base if possible. I would think that that's probably a very good thing, because it's just pouring in and around Scott Air Force Base, and especially on 64 at the moment. Let me see if I can find my let's see what we've got here. The 2 spots over in, well, they did get a 46 mile per hour wind gust, it looks like. Well, now wait. Yeah, it is, no, that's not right. 812. Okay, yeah. So that is right. So they did get a 46 mile per hour wind gust over here in Mascoutah, but they're not precipitation. They dropped the visibility down, but I don't see any precip there. So that's that's over in Cahokia. So let's see what we've got in Belleville. Holy cow. So 1 hour precip over at Scott Air Force Base, 3.13 inches. And it looks like we had 1.62. So now we're up to 4.75 inches here at Scott Air Force Base just in the last hour, hour and a half, with 40 mile per hour winds, a top gust. Now, I will say this, even though these storms aren't severe, you have to have 58 mile per hour winds for severe thunderstorms. The thing of it is when you have a 40 or 45 mile per hour wind and you have wet ground, like we're looking at right now, it doesn't take as much wind to knock trees over. So that can be a problem. So at this point, all the flash flood warnings that have been issued are still in effect. Watching this area now down into Monroe County and southern portions of St. Clair County uh, for the potential of additional rainfall here that could be causing some big time problems. So they don't have the flash flood warning in effect down towards Waterloo and down into Columbia yet, but I gotta believe this area's got water problems going on here. Um, and we're talking Highway 159, 158. You go out of Waterloo towards Valmeyer, the road between Waterloo and Valmeyer. Um, so MoDOT is reporting some flooding here on 4064. Trying to pass along everything that I can get to you that I see. So Anthony's going to take back over here in a few minutes. He's been on TV doing updates, and I've been on Facebook, so he's going to take over for a little bit. But again, looking at this, also, before I'm done, up here, 255, 270 going towards Chain of Rocks. That cell's still holding together now. If that doesn't weaken and it works its way back towards Spanish Lake and then back into North St. Louis City, then that's going to aggravate the situation. You can see the rain has let up some across the city of St. Louis. Still moderate rain, but it's let up considerably from what we were looking at before. And I would expect more flash flood warnings to get issued down here into Monroe County and into southern portions of St. Clair County as the next hour goes along, especially if these storms don't weaken, because they are really dropping the heavy rainfall. And it continues to come down. So the biggest takeaway from this, I mean, we're not going to stop the rain, but if there's water over the road, please don't drive in it. Most deaths do occur when there's water over the road and people driving into that. We don't know, when you're driving into that, first of all, if it's flowing water, how fast it's flowing. You don't know how deep it is. You can't tell what's, if the road's been washed out underneath. So that's the biggest thing. Don't drive through those flooded roads. So I'm going to wrap it up right now. I just did hear something from the National Weather Service, and I want to check real fast on that. Scott Air Force Base, I just set 4.75 inches of rain. So I got to believe that's about what happened here Saturday night. It ran my creek wild. So I'm sure the creeks and streams here in St. Clair County are going wild as well. So Anthony's going to pick it up and take it over from here. And I'll be monitoring things, and we'll try to keep you up.
Lindell and Van Deventer, that there was water covering the road there. And it looks like I'm not hearing too much. Okay, I'm seeing that shot was from Delmar and Van Deventer. So that's right where we were hearing reports earlier from Van Deventer and Lindell. So that entire area dealing with some water covering the roadway. But as you can see, it looks like they've blocked off the road, so you won't be able to take that stretch. But again, heavy rain continues to come down. All right, so we're going to continue to monitor this. When we get new information, we'll jump back on here and give you an update. But in the meantime, we'll get you back to your regular programming. Of course, if you are headed out, just remember, we always say it, and you always see people trying to do it. Turn around, do not drown. You just never know what the ground is like below those flooded roadways. It's 11:15. We'll keep you posted through the morning. Flash flood warning continues into the early afternoon. If we have any new updates, any new information, of course, we will bring it to you here on air and online. Have a great day, everybody.